My name's Eric Welander and welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to make a quick recap video about CES 2020 and some of the interesting devices and HomeKit products I saw coming out of there and what it might mean for HomeKit in 2020. So Eve has been a HomeKit manufacturer for a while now, and they make some great sensors as well as switches, and they even have like a sprinkler control. And one of the more interesting products they announced this year is the Eve Cam. It's scheduled to come out in April of this year and cost around $150 US. It's an indoor wired HomeKit secure video camera. And the great thing about Eve is they don't have any kind of cloud service or any kind of data harvesting. They're very privacy focused, and it's great to see them be making a secure and privacy focused camera as well. I think of in all the companies that make cameras, Eve is probably one I'd be most comfortable with trusting with a camera indoors, filming somewhere in my home. And I think it's also a great example of a company that's, smaller in the HomeKit space, but still able to make a video camera that supports HomeKit because of all that HomeKit Secure Video and what the hub does to support that, all that, involved. It really reduces the amount of work that they have to do for this camera. But keep in mind that if you're looking at different cameras, if you add $30 more to the $150 price, you can get a LowG Circle. They have their own cloud system, which you could go with instead of HomeKit Secure Video. And then you can also watch the video feeds on something like a Google Nest Hub or a Amazon Echo Show, something, where one of these screens with a voice assistant where you can see the video. And currently there's no way to do that in HomeKit. So I'll probably do more videos just talking about the different trade-offs about different cameras and kind of investigating those over the year. I think that's going to be a really confusing and interesting challenge in 2020 is the different options you'll have with video in HomeKit. And, if you're interested in going that route, what do you go with? So Belkin Wemo is another big player in the HomeKit smart home space, and they announced a new version of their Wemo smart plug. Now this is their Wemo Mini that I have here. It's already pretty small. It can fit, two of these next to each other on an outlet, but then they've made a smaller version that's kind of not as long, and I think that'll be a nice addition, just be able to fit it in things like a surge protector more easily. And that's supposed to come out in February for $25. It's supposed to come out in the spring for $25. Now, the Belkin Wemo Stage is another product they announced, which is a 3-button wall switch. Now, this is very similar to the Philips Hue dimmer switch, which I think is one of the greatest products ever for HomeKit. It's just so so many different things you can do with it. But the great thing about the Wemo Stage is it's a very similar idea where you have these buttons and you can of course configure them inside of the Wemo app, but you can also alternatively choose to configure them inside the Apple Home app. And that allows them to trigger all kinds of different scenes or accessories in your home that even aren't necessarily Belkin Wemo related. This 3 buttons provide you with 6 controls, Belkin says. So, that you can have a short and long press on each button. I think that sounds like a really exciting product. I'm excited to see how it actually all, fits together with HomeKit. I've had some reliability issues as I've continued to add more Belkin Wemo smart plugs and other things. So, and I have some of their switches as well. I would really hope that some of these products are more reliable than other ones they've had in the past. We'll just have to see when they come out. But I do think it's exciting to see another company making one of these customizable switches you can put on a wall. You don't even need to redo any wiring inside the wall. It's just, kind of screw onto the wall and gives you a lot of control options that are handy and convenient for you, but can also be a lot more usable for other people you might live with or might visit who might be a little more intimidated by smart home tech. And they just have a switch on the wall. They can press a button and the lights turn on or whatever. So speaking of switches on the wall and smart switches, Lutron, of course, has made the Caseta Wireless series, which is for completely replacing a switch on your wall with a smart switch. And then, you don't need smart bulbs because the switch is what's doing the smart part. Now, they've added a motion sensor to their line of products, and that's available in February for $50. If that I think the really compelling part of them doing a motion sensor is they have a great wireless frequency and really reliable bridge system with their Caseta wireless bridge that communicates to all their switches. So this motion sensor will, it seems like, talk through that bridge, as opposed to some other HomeKit motion sensors. They have to talk to your HomeKit hub via Bluetooth, and that can have a lot more limited range. So I think having a motion sensor from that could be really nice. Also, Lutron so far has made really reliable products in their switches. So I think, if they're doing a motion sensor, it'll probably be just as reliable, at least in my experience. But, we'll have to see what happens when it comes out. But I think it's great to see them adding motion sensor support to their line of products. Speaking of wireless range, Lutron also announced a Caseta wireless repeater, and this can be great for larger homes where you might need to have some switches that are a lot further away from the initial bridge. You can add a repeater somewhere between the switch and the bridge, and that helps the signal get all the way out to those remote switches on your property. So ADT, speaking of big smart home brands, they've been a long time home security player, and more in the sort of all-in-one solutions again, where you get a professional to come out your house, install a security system, then you pay a monthly fee for, sometimes any combination of the hardware and the services, depending on your plan setup. And in recent years, there's been an emergence of more of a DIY market for security, where you configure exactly the types of sensors and things you want. You buy them yourself up front, and then just pay a lot less for maybe a monthly monitoring service, or maybe you don't need a monthly monitoring service, and you just use some of your phone notifications or other things. Monitoring meaning someone watching 24/7, so that if something happens, they'll call the police for you and that kind of stuff. And so this DIY service, and I'm probably oversimplifying the home security thing, and this is not the video to talk about it. But Blue by ADT is a new product line they've announced at CES, which is more in the DIY market for security, trying to compete with the Simply Safes and Scout Alarms of the world. And with that, they've come out with a doorbell camera, an indoor camera, and an outdoor camera, all priced around $200 and available in late January. But they're promising HomeKit video support, not necessarily HomeKit secure video, but just support for video on HomeKit. And, we'll see if that actually happens. But I think with such a big player like ADT coming into the DIY security space, first of all, and then also trying to support HomeKit, I think that's a great sign for the platform, and I hope it works out for the best for everybody involved. So speaking of keeping things secure, August has been a long-time player in the HomeKit lock space. They first came out with one of the early HomeKit related and just in general smart locks that was like this, this circle that went over your deadbolt or replaced your deadbolt on the inside, and then you could turn that locked or unlocked. And you still need a Wi-Fi hub to connect that lock to your HomeKit system. And this year at CES, they announced a new version of that iconic deadbolt, which is 22% slimmer and 45% smaller. And it doesn't need this extra connect hub that you had, or a bridge, whatever, that you had to plug in nearby the lock to get it to connect to Wi-Fi. The lock itself just connects to Wi-Fi on its own, which is fantastic. And of course, it'll support HomeKit. August is owned by Assa Abloy, which is a big conglomerate which owns a bunch of lock and similar related companies, and Yale Locks, which is another one of their companies, sort of powered by August's technology, came out with a really cool product called the Yale Smart Delivery Box. And this will be available in spring of 2020 and costs around $230 US. and that is a new smart lock connected box that you can put near your front porch or something like that for deliveries. We get all kinds of deliveries at this house, and to just be able to have a secure place in the front for people to put it, I think is a really great idea, especially if you live in urban environments where you're concerned about packages getting snatched off your porch, or especially if you travel a lot, and that kind of doubles that concern. You know, you can do things like keeping the box unlocked until a delivery is put inside, and then it locks, or, you know, various things like that. And then you can get notifications when things are put inside the box or the box is opened. So I think it's a really cool idea of taking smart home lock tech, which has been, you know, more just applied to locks and doors, and using it in another place that's also very friendly to a lot of, you know, tech-savvy consumers who might be interested in smart home tech in the first place. And I think it'll be interesting. You know, they also have HomeKit supported safes, as well as, you know, cabinet locks that you could maybe put on a liquor cabinet or something like that. So I think it'll be cool to see where, you know, smart home locks go beyond just your front door. There's a lot of potential there, and we'll see, especially as a lot of this technology miniaturizes, it can fit in more places, and then from there, not just trigger, you know, notifications or records of what's open, but then also automations. You open your liquor cabinet, maybe you want a specific scene in your dining room to be triggered or whatever it is. So all kinds of cool stuff coming out at CES this year. If you want to see a list of every single HomeKit related product announced at CES this year, iMore's compiled a great list that I linked in the description below. Let me know in the comments if there's, you know, some particular HomeKit related device you're really excited about that maybe I didn't talk about, or maybe I did. Just love to hear about that and what you're interested in hearing more about in 2020. Thanks again so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.